Welcome to Halifax, West Yorkshire. Halifax is a town in West Yorkshire, England, close to the cities of Leeds and Bradford. The first recording of its name was in 1091, and it meant an area of coarse grass in the nook of land. Halifax hit the big time in the 19th century due to its cotton, carpet and wool industries. Mills, factories and chimneys sprang up everywhere, as did the Macintosh factory. But all of this faded in the 1980s. Today, though, Halifax is back on the map due to the BBC drama Gentleman Jack, about a famous Halifax industrialist of the early 19th century. Her name was Anne Lister. Let's go on a tour of Halifax. So this is the Bankfield Museum. It used to belong to William Ackroyd.
Yeah.
And it was his house, but let's go in and have a look. Poster for Gentleman Jack, a popular BBC programme on at the moment, which is making Halifax quite popular. So this was William Ackroyd's library. It became a museum in 1887. It's a display of the character costumes that they wore in the programme. Saran Jones, there it is. And then the weird stuffed animal section next to it. Right, let's go in the Duke of Wellington's regiment room. Can I have a pepperoni pizza, please? Thanks. The marble section. Best thing of all, this museum is completely free. Free entry. It's an interesting poster of what it used to look like back in the day, back when Halifax was producing an industry of wool.
I think this is the old post office, and I think this is Harvey's here, on this corner maybe, and then you've got Barker's Bank further down.
So yeah, quite a lot to see, if you're interested in old stuff. Okay, so I'm in Halifax town centre. Let's go and show you some of the sights. This is the famous Victoria Theatre. Some great statues on there. Let's have a look who are performing. The Trems, all former members of the Tremolos. Duke of Wellington pub, and next to it, it used to be the Grand Post Office. Closed down a few years ago. The Lloyds Bank building behind me, that's a good one. Town Hall behind me, designed in the 19th century by Charles Barry, who is notable for designing the Houses of Parliament in London. Let's have a look. Victoria Hall. Coat of arms of Halifax. In the centre there is John the Baptist, who was rumoured, his head was rumoured to have been buried here. The mayor is in town. Look at that. Halifax. So there you are, named after Queen Victoria. The dome. Good God, he had a heart attack there. So we're allowed to go into this council chambers. We've got some permission because there's nothing happening at the moment. Look at that. It's like a crown court. Got all the stained glass. John the Baptist again. So what do you think of the town hall then?
Really, really beautiful, really interesting.
So it's one of the newest additions to Halifax town centre. Great statue. This is a local landmark, coffee number 1, but there's a little thing on the brickwork saying 1670. So we've actually come into that cafe. Having some lunch. Let's have a look in Halifax Borough Market. Built between 1891 and 1896. Opened by future King George V. Back when he was just the Duke of York. Famous for its clock. Buy anything? Maybe some sweets.
Not for that,
Some strawberries. So here we are at the entrance to Halifax Minster. About 900 years old, but the tower is about 500 years old. Good clock. Gargoyles. And the cenotaph. To all the people who lost their lives in World War II. There's John the Baptist again. What we're hoping to see is an organ recital. It's due to start any minute. Interesting fact, this Minster's first organist back in the 18th century was William Herschel, who went on to discover Uranus. There you go. So we're inside, waiting for the big moment. So Anna Lister was baptised here in 1791 and she was buried very close to it. It's about to start. Are you excited? Here we go. And now we're heading to perhaps Halifax's most famous site, Peace Hall. Opened 1779 for wool merchants and weavers. Look at this. We just came to one of the exits and there's John the Baptist yet again. Features heavily. Around the corner, Square Chapel. Look at that spire. This one says here, someone died aged just 6 years and 4 months. Someone called George, son of Thomas Hunter. So we're going to try to get in. I thought this was a church, but it's actually a library. This behind me is the infamous Halifax Gibbet. Back in the day when Calderdale was famous for making its wool, thieves would come, steal it if they got caught. This is where they ended up. About 100 people back in the 17th century had the head chopped off. But it wasn't just a straightforward severing of the head, it was fairly blunt, so it had been quite a disgusting chopping action. And that's where they were. This is obviously a reproduction now. So yeah, the felon would lay there, the horse would pull it, and then someone would remove this pin, down it went, chop. 10 minutes away from the gibbet, here on this junction, back in 1938, there was someone attacked by the Halifax Slasher. So on the 21st of November that year, a young woman called Mary Sutcliffe was walking back from Macintosh's factory on this very junction when a man jumped out and slashed her across the face. Then more women were attacked, slashed across the face and the neck and their arms. The police were called. People were starting to form vigilante gangs, and then it was discovered that all of the women had made up their attacks, done it themselves. The Halifax Slasher had never existed. So here we are outside the Three Pigeons, one of only 3 pubs in the country with this amazing Art Deco. Let's have a look inside. So here we are, I'm getting a pint of Gentleman Rat. So this is the Art Deco, is it? I don't know. So what exactly is Art Deco then?
An art design that was popular just before World War I from France, I think.
Ooh, you know a lot.
Well, I think that's what it is.
To be honest, with the Art Deco thing, I wouldn't have known any difference. It looks like a normal pub to me.
Yeah.
Climbing now to Beacon Hill for a great view of Halifax. Close to the city centre. And there it is, the beacon. But look at the view of Halifax. Peace Hall, Town Hall Spire, Dean Clough. You can see everything. And that over there is Wayne House Tower, one of the largest follies, if not the largest folly in the world. So now we're having a short ride to a place called Dean Clough, where that big chimney is. Once Halifax had these chimneys everywhere thanks to the wool trade, but Dean Clough was an old carpet factory, one of the biggest in the world. So yeah, all of this was built between the 1840s and the 1860s. Huge carpet factory owned by Crossley Carpets. But it closed down in the 1980s, and now it's been taken over by small businesses and cafes and theatres, even a radio station. So we've come into the gallery. Here we are, Crossley Gallery. A lot of boats. So there's the home of the local newspaper, the Courier. Got legal offices. Huge chimney, that would have littered the landscape everywhere. And over there, a dragon. So just saying, it's really good that they're keeping these sort of places. Halifax has got more to offer than we thought when we started doing this. Yeah, it's worth coming here. So here is Shibden Hall, once owned by Anne Lister, made famous by the TV series Gentleman Jack. Loads of visitors today. Before, there was hardly anyone. Now, hundreds. Look how good it looks with its Tudor frontage. Hundreds of years old. £5 to get in. Anne Lister.
Thank you.
It's amazing to think that Anne Lister was in this room at one point. Maybe looking out of this window. And this is the kitchen as featured in that programme, Gentleman Jack. The Lister Library. The Great Hall. Look at the windows. With examples of Anne Lister's diary written in her secret code. The dining room.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Look at this on the wall from a narwhal. Popular in households if you were wealthy. Right, let's go outside. So this behind me is one of the oldest surviving carriages in the world, used by the Lister family. 2 horses would have pulled it. It's got the family coat of arms. An old inn. Most recently used by the Luddites, whoever they were. Do you know what a Luddite is?
Somebody who's opposed to new technology.
Okay. This is how the servants of the hall would live. This is not quite as luxurious, but does the job. You can't have one of these places without an apothecary. So there was never one of these actually in the hall, but I think one of the Listers was a pharmacist practiced in Halifax somewhere, so they'll put this around. There you go, Shibden Hall. So we just walked all the way down there, had a coffee, and now we're at the lake. So that's it, the sights of Halifax, West Yorkshire. Come and see it yourself.